welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and in this episode I will be talking in English, of course, as you already have noticed. And I will present you 3 different games again, which are in this case Diamond Miner, Space Sweeper and Futuristic Sci-Fi Robot Sword Battle. My name is Jared, and as always I have a couple of different things with me, which is of course the Arc Mouse, which is this one. I have the Foldable keyboard with me, which is this one, for keyboard input of course. And there could be a game, and I wished it would have been playable with this one, because it would be much better if it would be playable with an Xbox One wireless controller, for instance. But it's not at the moment, so we have to wait for that. And so these are the different things, and so the Xbox One wireless controller will not be used in this episode, but will only stay on the side. Yeah, and of course the core of the whole thing we are doing here is, as always, our Lumia 950 XL I have here, which has a Mozo cover at the back, and of course is a Continuum enabled device with an USB-C connector at the bottom here. And like that we can connect the USB-C cable here with the dock and project more or less this desktop-like experience on our TV in this case. And like that we can play games or do any kind of office work or something like that with this. And of course we could do other things too, but that depends on the different apps, and I'm not going to talk much about that in this episode. If you want to know more about this kind of stuff, please have a look at the corner there. There you will find different options and different other videos which will help you to understand better what Continuum is. Yeah, and so I would say enough talk, and let's start with the first game. The first game is Diamond Miner, and this is a small game where you are, more or less a diamond miner. So you are trying to get diamonds from the ground, and you are, let's say, digging. It's not really digging, but let's say it is digging. Just let me type it in. Here we are. So Diamond Miner Fun Diamond Rush game it's called. And what this is all about is you have a couple of seconds in general to grab all the different things you have beneath you. So if you have a look at that, underneath you there are different things you can get. And there are, for instance, diamonds, of course, there's gold and other stuff you can collect there. And what you are using to collect that is more or less some kind of a rope with some kind of an arrow on it, which is grabbing that stuff. And it's swinging around, and you have to click at the right moment so that the rope that is going to extend to the position where the stuff is in the ground then will grab that, and this is more or less what the game is all about. So let's have a look at that. I'm just going to click on the options first. There's not much to see here. As you can see, there's only sound, you can share it, and you can have a look at other apps of the same developer here, but in the end there's not much to look here. So let's go to the game itself and click on play. You can remove the ads, which might in some cases be a good idea. It depends on what you are used to. In general, this game is more or less aimed to show you apps, so there are a lot of them depending on what you are playing and where you are playing. So let's click on play, and I will show you what's going on here. This is some kind of a bug. You can overcome that by just clicking on the back button once, going back in, and then it's over. I don't know why it's there. I think they wanted to show you some kind of advertisement there, but that didn't work out for the Continuum mode, and so you really have to just click on the back button then, and it should work. Okay, so let's start with the first level. There are different levels, as you can see, and the levels are in general only different by how much you have to collect in a certain time. So the time might be smaller or less. And of course the value you have to dig out of the ground will be higher and higher, and there are different things of course to dig for, but in the end this is more or less what this is all about. So click on the first level, and if you do that, here is the first advertisement. We have to watch this, but it can be closed, which is fine. And now you can see this was already the first place you can see here. And as you can see, you are that guy and you are trying to get all that stuff with this rope. And it's swinging around and you really have just to click when it should extend and then it will grab what's there. If the diamond, for instance, in this case is a really big one, is very heavy, it will take some time to get the diamond. And it's a longer time than, for instance, with a smaller diamond or something like that. And so you really have to have a look at your timer, which is here and is of course decreasing. And here is the value you got, so $750 or whatever can be got. You can get from this level here, and or we already got that. And this is the aim you have to target for. So go to 400 and you will solve this first level. And after that you will just click on play. Now you can have a look at commercial, for instance, and get a couple of different things here too. And if you don't want that, just skip that. If you click again, you will be in the next one. Here's the bug again, so just do the same as before. Click once on back, and now we can play the next level. And as you can see, we are going to have to go to 1,200 points at this point. I think this is the level I am currently at, I'm not sure. Here you can grab different power-ups like this one, which is increasing the time you got. Here are different animals going around, and there are odd and other stuff you can collect here. But in the end you should aim for the bigger diamonds, I think, at the moment. And like that you might really get that money, or you don't, it depends. And I only have 8 seconds left, that will not be sufficient. But if you do that, you get the option to watch a video or something to still get this level going. Then you get 10 more seconds for that, which is not a whole lot of seconds if you ask me. It's still quite hard to get it then if you are not very close already to that. If I, for instance, would get one of the bigger ones at the bottom here, I could play it and might watch this. Or if you just want to start again, click on skip and you will be greeted with a new one. I'm not going to watch this video now, but if you want to play on, just click on it. It's not a longer one or something. It's okay to watch it, but you can't close it, for instance, because it's of course something they want you to show, and you get something for it if you watch it. Yeah, and so I will just close this one down, and we will have a look at the second game. And the second game is called Space Sweeper, and this game is pretty, let's say, unique. I don't know how to express it differently. So let's go to that. Click on Space Sweeper, there we go. And yeah, what this game is all about, the story behind it is pretty nicely done, I think, or pretty nice somehow. The story behind it is more or less that the Earth, for instance, or better to say the humans as a whole, are going to through space, and they are going to put their waste everywhere, and so garbage is flying around in the space, and you are the collector of that. So the big space consortium, whatever, has said that it would be a good idea to get rid of all that litter in the space, and because of that, you are sent out to do that. So before humanity came, the space was clean and pretty nice and stuff like that. But after we tried to colonize the space, it's pretty dirty and polluted now. Just to let you know, if you don't want to watch this, there's a little skip icon at the right, at the bottom there. It's really pretty small, but it's there. So if you don't want to watch this, have a look at that. But I think we are going to watch the first intro here. We are going to save the universe, of course. And like this, good luck. Yeah. So, what we are going to do in this game is more or less we are going to collect different things, and you have to do it in a good and an ordered kind of way. And if you do that, then you can collect stuff and go to the next level and stuff like that. It's more or less a puzzle game. So what you really want to do here is you really want to collect the different objects which are of the same size, the same color, or the same shape, for instance, in the right kind of way. Don't be too hurried up, because you really need a couple of different seconds to load the things up. So don't think that if you don't see anything working or doing, it would be stuck or something. It's not stuck, it's just loading, and there is no loading screen in many situations here. Okay, so as you can see already, this is a menu, and it's pretty damn not readable if you ask me, but whatever. So the first one here is campaign, the second one is credits, this is tutorial if you want to start with a tutorial, which is a good idea, and then play, of course, to go in and exit the game. And let's start with the tutorial. I'm going to click on that, and let's have a look at what they are going to tell us there. And again, if you see something like this, it's not stuck, it's just loading, and it takes a couple of seconds till it's coming back. I like the idea behind this game. So, for instance, in space or something, we already have that kind of littering, and it's pretty nice idea to do that. And here you can see we are in the tutorial now. Okay. You're going to play this with your mouse, so just use your first mouse button, that should be all. And as you can see, collect by tapping them. These are ways to collect, tapping them. They can vary by color and size, of course. Okay, so just collect them in any kind of way. And of course, there are different littering stuff, whatever you want to call that. You can click on it, or you can just watch this tutorial. It depends on what you really want to do. There are power-ups coming up for you, as you can see, and there are different other things to do here. Current level restart, which is a bad idea to click on it, because the tutorial is restarting then. It's pretty interesting, but whatever. Let's see if I can click on back to go back here. I'm not sure about that. Might be that we are able to do that. It's just loading again for a couple of seconds. Yeah. Okay, so the tutorial is really something to watch. You should have a look at it, but it's really interesting how the execution is here. And after that you can, for instance, go to play. Let's do that, and I will show you what the game itself is all about. It's all about collecting. It's a little bit strange how the litter and the garbage in the space is looking, but whatever. And then you just have to collect those. And as mentioned before, it's quite interesting game concept, whatever. So here we are. We are going to collect different objects here by shape in this case. So we are going to collect the different cubes you see here. And now we are going to click on start, and just to let you know, don't click on start, click on the little icon before that. That's the only way to start it. And after that you are in space more or less, and now you should try to collect all of them. And this is done by just clicking on the different objects, and in the first level it's pretty easy because you just have to click on that. And here again, continue will bring you to the next level. You have a timer here, and you have some kind of a coin collection or whatever you want to call that, and or the score. And you just want to be faster and faster, of course. And you should have a look at what you are clicking at, because if you click, for instance, in the wrong direction or something, so in this case it's more or less color you should collect stuff with. So it's going to be the sphere and this one, and after that this one. And the more important thing is that you get the right collection order, for instance. If you do it in the wrong way, you might be stuck, and you will have to restart the game for that. So if, for instance, there's an object, and you can, for instance, collect it by color and by the shape, which is going to be a thing in the following in the following levels, then you might, for instance, block your own way if you're doing it the wrong way, and then you lose the game or you just have to restart the game. So let's play one more. As you can see, we have by color in this case, and we can do that pretty easily by just collecting them like this. Let's have a look at another one. Hopefully we are going to get one of the levels where it's more complex, but that's of course the same as with every game. The levels are going to be harder and harder the higher you come, and this is more or less what this game is all about. I really don't like the feeling of the loading stuff here, but as I told you before, it's going to be fine. There we are. And here you can see ordered size and color is what you should have a look at. And as you can see, we are going to have a sphere, for instance, a smaller sphere. We are going to have these checkboards, and we are going to have these parts. And now you really have to have a look at that and collect it in the right way. And if I can click on start again, we can just start with that. So go, for instance, with these. Okay, this is fine. Checkboards are especially hard to see because if they are turning around, they are going to be invisible from the one side, more or less. So as you can see, it's hard to see it, but there is still one, and you just have to wait a little because those two are still available. Yeah, and so you're going to play this game. It's going to be harder and harder the longer you play, of course, and just have a look at it. If you like this kind of game, it's pretty fun, a little bit strange for my taste, but really pretty fun and nice to play if you have a couple of minutes left. Yeah, and so let's have a look at our last game for this episode, and the last game for this episode is Futuristic Sci-Fi Robot Sword Battle. Just a little bit long of a name, but whatever. And what you're going to play here is you're really going to play in the third person view of the character, and your character is a robot with, for instance, a sword and a shield, and you're going to have to fight against other robots in an epic fight or whatever. And for that I'm going to go to my start menu again, click on all apps, and we are going to input Futuristic. Should be enough, there we are. I'm going to start this, and yeah, there are different levels you are going to experience here. For instance, the first one is just against somebody with just fists, so he's going to fight against you like that. And after that you're going to fight against other robots which are larger, for instance, which can take more punches, of course. And there are going to be different kind of robots you are fighting against. There are two different ways to control this game. The first one is by using your mouse, or of course your touch fingers or whatever. And the second one is by using your keyboard controls. I'm going to use the keyboard controls, and for that you can toggle that by clicking on this. So go to keyboards if you want to play it with your keyboard on your Continuum device, for instance, in this kind of fashion. That's a good idea to do. And after that you are going to use WASD and for instance your mouse to fight. So using your mouse with the left mouse button, for instance, is going to hit, and using your mouse with the right mouse button, for instance, is going to block other fighting parts. And the view on your character can be changed by just moving around your mouse, and this is more or less what this game is all about. I'm going to turn around now, and we are going to play one or two levels of that. And again, you're going to use your mouse and your keyboard in this case. Otherwise, you can of course use on-screen touch buttons and stuff like that. But that's up to you. Okay, so we can turn off the sound, and this is more or less what you can do here, and click on play. We are going to play now. And as you can see, there are a couple of different levels you can play here. I'm going to start with the first one, of course, and then go to accept. And after a little bit of loading time, don't worry, this is not really a linear waiting bar or whatever you want to call that. It's going to be faster. Yeah, there we are. And yeah, I like the game. It's a 3D game in the third person situation. There, as you can see, we can now fight the enemy. We are the one. I'm going to run around a little. And now we can, of course, move our parts, run around, fight against the other one. And in the first level you really don't have to block anything, but if you want to block, right click with your mouse and you can see that the shield is going up and you can go to the next level. Okay, and there are going to be levels with different enemies against you. Here is one that already has a shield, of course. At the top you can see that, oh, and just to mention it, if you block, for instance, in one direction, that's fine, but if the enemy is behind you, then he might still be able to hit you. So it's more or less, not exactly, but more or less accurate. So we are going to try to fight him too. Above his head, of course, there was his health bar, and our health bar is at the top at this point. And let's have a look at the next game too, or the next level here. The first levels are of course pretty easy, but after a while you are going to face different enemies with different kind of weapons, and for instance you are going to face a couple of enemies sooner or later. At the same time, of course. And then there are enemies which are a lot harder to fight against. They are going to block you better and stuff like that. This was, for instance, an X1. And as you can see, there are a couple of different options you have here to fight. Let's go to the next one. Here we are. And here you can see this one is already more or less an enemy you would have to really fight against. The green bar, for instance, is how good you can block, so more or less your stamina or whatever you want to call that. And after a while, whoa, he's behind me? Yeah, better. As you can see, you may die and you really have to retry it then. You can retry it as often as you want at the level you are at, so do not worry, but in this case we are already facing a pretty hard enemy, so let's see. Oh, and pretty important too, if you are, for instance, watching your enemy from a bad angle or something, so if you are, for instance, having obstacles next to you, you can't hit him, like it would be in the reality too. So if you, for instance, are going to see different, like in this case, if you, for instance, hit with your sword or something against, let's say, a obstacle or, for instance, his shield, you're going to be bouncing back and it's harder to fight him then. So try to, of course, knock him down if he's not blocking, for instance. Otherwise you are going to have a hard time to fight him here. And the bad thing about it is he doesn't have that kind of disadvantage, so he can hit at you as often as he wants to. And now I got him. Okay, and so this is more or less the game you're going to play here. I think I will just leave it like that, because it's really quite self-explanatory and I don't want this episode to be too long. But try it out, it's fun, it's a nice little addition. You are going to have a lot to face against in the higher levels, so there are going to be other enemies and stuff like that, so have a look at that. And I think this is a quite nice game to play, and You have to get accustomed to the controls for a couple of minutes, but after that it's really a nice game, and try it out. It's pretty fun. Yeah, and then I would say thank you for watching, thank you for listening, because this is already the end of this episode. And please have a look at the buttons below. You will find the subscription button, of course. If you are not subscribed to the channel, you might want to think about that. And of course, if you liked this episode, please give a thumbs up for it. And if you have any kind of questions, commentary, or you want something to talk about, please use the comment section below this video too, and I will be happy answering you in the comments then. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching. We are going to see us in the next episode in a couple of days, probably at Saturday next week, whatever. And then we are going to talk German in this case, and we are always alternating the languages, of course. And so please have a look at those different things. Have a nice week. I hope you have a nice day, and thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Have a nice time. Bye. Bye.